Welcome along, everybody, to practice 3 for the 2025 Formula 1 Mexico City Grand Prix. We've got a watch along beginning in a second. Oh, typical practice 3 antics. No one's in their car. No one's ready to go out. Anyways, welcome to the stream. If you're new here, this is how it works. You got my face here, you got the live timings here, you got the session timer down the bottom left that you can sync it up with, and you got lovely Twitch chat that you can type in. So if you're watching right now on TikTok or YouTube, come join us on Twitch. We will live every single Grand Prix weekend for every single session. So join us later for qualifying. In between the sessions, we're watching videos and stuff like that and chilling. Yeah, the session is about to begin. Predictions are up in chat. Who will finish first in practice 3? Get your channel points in. But yeah, I don't think there's really much to say. We had the very cool rookie session, obviously, in FP1. And then FP2, it looks like our takeaways are McLaren are struggling. Red Bull are on the top. Ferrari look good. Mercedes look like they're there. It could be a really interesting weekend with the way the altitude is. And for people who don't know how the altitude works or why everyone talks about this track so much, and the reason why I'm so nervous as a Red Bull Max fan about this track is this track, even though it's got a lot of straight lines and is very high speed, the altitude of where the track is, the air is so dense that... Is it dense? I think that's the word. Either way, basically, they've got Monaco setups on. Monaco level setups on. Monaco level downforce. But the cars still go as quick as Monza. So it's a really weird track having to, you know, normally these setups are saved for Hungary, saved for Monaco, tracks like that. But it being used at a high-speed track makes it really weird. But then you've also got to manage the temps. Now, I thought McLaren were going to come here and be absolutely nuts because they're so good at managing the cooling, which they are, and they probably will be good in race pace. But yeah, they're really struggling with their setup this weekend. Maybe their car doesn't suit high downforce, but then again, they won in Monaco this year. I think they won in Hungary as well. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm very surprised that Max are on top at the moment, especially after only one practice session. Time is up. Sync on up. And Lance Stroll's out on track. First car out on track. All right, what am I missing, chat? K-Dan, so the follow. Have you ever tried State energy drinks? State energy drinks? Never heard of them. I think Arvid's going to be really good in the V-Carb next year. Yeah, I think he'll end up being like a Hadja. I think he's shown a lot of talent. But then again, it's hard to tell with the Red Bull family, right? Like, oh, to be honest, has there ever been a bad Red Bull Junior? Like, when you think about it, like, let's go all the way back. Like, Daniel Ricciardo, you know, one of the top drivers who never really achieved a lot in the sport, but was a great driver. Max Verstappen, one of the best, might even end up being the best by the time he leaves the sport. Daniel Kvyat. Was Daniel Kvyat a junior driver, or did they get him from another team? Before he was a part of the junior program, right? Does anyone actually know? Anyways, Daniel Kvyat, he wasn't a terrible driver, but he did great. I guess Daniel Kvyat and Brendan Hartley weren't that great, let's be real. Then Pierre Gasly, amazing driver. That 2020-2021 season, very underrated. Alex Albon, obviously a great driver at the moment. Had a really good season at Toro Rosso. And to be honest, was one of the drivers who actually handled the Red Bull quite well when he was in the team. Then we got, who else have we got? Nick DeVries was not a part of the junior program, guys. He was brought in from Formula E. He was not a part of the Red Bull junior program. Carlos Sainz was part of the junior program. One of the best drivers in the sport. Liam Lawson, I know he's not had the best of times, but one of those drivers who kind of hopped in that AlphaTauri and straight away was on it. And then Isaac Hadjar, probably going to end up being Rookie of the Year. And next in line, we've got Arvid Lindblad. Like, I don't know. I feel like the Red Bull, they're really good at eyeing up talent and developing their drivers. You know, they've only really missed with Daniel Kvyat and Brendan Hartley. But then again, I don't know. Brendan Hartley got very unlucky. Kvyat didn't really get like a great shot in the sport. Oh, we didn't talk about Yuki. Yuki's a weird one because obviously Yuki's first 2 years in F1 sucked. Like, he was probably the worst Red Bull Junior, maybe even worse than Nick DeVries, if I'm being honest, in his first year. But now Yuki's on a great level. He's developed so well, and he's really trying. Yeah. Let's Henry, what's up, dude? On the stream. Brado, Joe Davies, Whiskey Tango, Sebastian, and everyone else who followed on TikTok. Thank you guys for the follows. Who's going to get pole? I think Max is going to get pole today. That would be my prediction. Max took Kvyat's seat, yeah, and then Kvyat went to AlphaTauri afterwards. What was in chat? You can't compare too much with the lap times of practice, but the team will know better exactly. Yeah, exactly. You can look at sector times. You can look at stuff like that. His monster flavor kind of tastes exactly like cantaloupe, which I love. Cantaloupe, really. Cheers, man. I don't think Lawson will be ever in the position again to compete for wins unless he gets like an Ocon win. Who knows what happens with the new regs? But also, like, look at a driver like Gasly, right? Amazing in Toro Rosso, got promoted to Red Bull, was at the lowest point in his life. You know what I mean? Like, his friend tragically passed away, Antoine Hubert, and then getting dropped from Red Bull 6 months after being there, back down to the second team. But the redemption arc he had, 2020, 2021 were Gasly's 2 best seasons. Like, absolutely insane. We were talking about it in Discord today. Like, that man needs to be studied, how good he was in 2020 and 2021. Very, 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 very extremely underrated seasons. And then, yeah, he had a bit of a mid-2022. And then moved to Alpine in 23, 24, 25. Was it 23, 24, 24, 25? I can't remember. Obviously not really been able to show his talents too much, but yeah, you know, got on a couple podiums at Alpine already. Like, Gasly's a great driver. And anyways, my point with that was, like, a driver like Liam or a driver like Yuki who has been through it at the Red Bull program, it doesn't mean that they're never going to get a shot at the top team. It just, they have to get out of the Red Bull program and find themselves at a seat elsewhere. The thing is, I think Yuki's going to be able to do that. Liam, I'm not so confident about. I'm not saying I don't think he should be in the sport. I want Liam to be in the sport, obviously. I just think Liam's in a tough spot where I think, like, marketing-wise and driver level-wise, like, he's not as appealing to teams. But then again, we've got 2 extra teams, 2 extra drivers on the grid now, 2 extra seats on the grid. We've got a few drivers maybe retiring soon. Liam's got experience at one of the best teams in the world. You know, 2 years where they won championships. Like, he will bring experience to whatever team he does go to. I would sign Liam personally, but I think the general public or the general consensus about Liam is that he's not a great driver, which sucks, but yeah. Ioana, 2 Wildcats, Luna, Raw, Brent, thank you guys for the follows. Driving Mexico and iRacing compared to F1 2025 is insane. Wait, Mexico's into iRacing now? That was a recent addition, right? Spider, thank you so much for the 55-month resub, dude. Thank you for coming in with the tier 1, man.
Happy 6-year anniversary, King. Less than 3 Ponden do.
Thank you, dude. Fun fact, you know that photo I put in on the socials, like the photo of me on like in the announcement or whatever, that was just a screen grab of my intermission screen, and in chat was Ruatan, Yumpsy, Rissel, and you. So I know you've been there since 2020, which is fucking crazy, man. So yeah, thank you so much for the support over all the years. 55 months is fucking crazy. But yeah, thank you so much, Sparta. F1 TV intro. Lando said his fastest lap time of 5-lap old Sosa. I imagine there's still room for improvement. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for no running at the start of FP3 for the next 50 minutes. Yeah, look, Hadja's on the car yet. Piastri's on the car yet. Get out there, guys. Come on. I feel bad for Yuki. Probably won't get a seat for 2026. Yeah, at this rate, there's no really seats available. Who do you wish was still in RB except Danny Rick? I'm happy with this lineup, to be honest. I love Liam and I really like Hadja. So, is the live timings right? Yeah, they're right. The thing about Liam though is obviously I want Liam in Formula 1. He's my favorite driver, but if Liam doesn't end up in F1, I really hope he goes to another series, because Liam has proven how amazing he is as a driver in other series and how well he is at adapting. You know, basically winning the DTM championship in his first year against experienced GT drivers. The little rally stint he did the other day for the Red Bull YouTube channel. Oh, Lewis is off. He's back on track though. The little stint he did in the rally car the other day, where he basically matched the rally driver's time. Super formula, getting second in the championship in his first year. You know, winning on debut in both F2 and F3. Am I back? I think I'm back. Hello? I know why it does that. I don't know why it does that. It did that twice yesterday. It's doing it did it again today. Maybe I need to. No. If Luke's uploading something, it will do that for like 10 minutes, but the stream won't cut out. This is the stream is actually cutting out. I might need to reset the modem at some point. Anyways, we're back. Okay. We're back, right? We're back. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, I was talking about Liam. The thing is, I know Liam can go over to another series and do very well. But Liam's dream. Whoa, big smoke coming out of the back of Hulk about that. Is that a reliability problem, or is that just like first time coming out of the garage for the day? Yeah, I'm confident Liam could go to another series and do really well. It's a shame that his skill and talent and everything he's done for years and years, what hasn't been able to be shown in Formula 1, whether he doesn't suit the cars or whether he's just not had a proper chance to prove himself, or maybe just doesn't like the way the Red Bull's set up. Who knows? Yeah, I'm confident, but I think the thing with Liam is it was always his dream to be in Formula 1, you know? I think certain drivers, like, say, like a Max or Alonso, they just like to drive fast cars. But, like, Liam's dream was to be an F1, and I can see him just being a reserve driver and traveling around the world as opposed to going to another series and racing in it. But we'll have to see what he does if and when that time comes. But, yeah. It's a shame, because I think anyone who watched Liam in feeder series and actually knows Liam's junior career and watched 2023 can see how good of a driver Liam can be. It's just a shame 2024 he wasn't on it as much as he was on 2023, but I still think he did good. And then he got rushed to Red Bull, which got him a lot of hate, combined with his people just misinterpreting his comments, and then I don't know. It just sucks. I think it goes to show how important PR is in Formula 1, where, you know, Liam made one comment about a driver, which, you know, I'm sure he probably regrets, at a very touchy time, and, you know, basically all of a sudden everyone doesn't like you, and then as soon as you stop delivering, everyone gets on you, compared to other drivers, say like Kimi, who's had a very underwhelming season, but he's still loved because people like him. What do you say? This time, yeah, it would have been this time last year when he was racing Perez. Yeah, it was actually this time last year he was racing Perez in Mexico. And him and Perez battled on track. And Liam said, "I'm not here to make friends," and pulled the finger at him. And everyone uses that against him. Yeah. It sucks because sometimes the team won't even listen to the driver, even if it's Max. They're also adding the Miami track to Irish at some point. That'd be good. So they've been wasting space for 5 years just for him to be praised over seventh while Max wins. Love, get him out. I think it is one of those things where people... Yuki came in at the right time, in the sense of, like, people finally realized, like, oh, it's actually the car. You know what I mean? But I would have liked to have seen if Yuki got the seat at the start of this year and then got dropped after, let's say, 4 races after Japan, would Liam be in the same boat as Yuki right now where everyone just kind of goes, oh, it's the car, it's the car, it's the car? Or would the hate train have continued because people don't like Liam? Heard Max wasn't happy at all with yesterday. Really? Where'd you hear that? Practice needs to be shorter. Sitting around for 10 to 15 minutes is crazy. But, well, they should just fucking go out. That's what they need to do. They just need to go out. They made a great start in RBN 23, but then had some not so good performances, and people don't like him sometimes because things he says. Yeah. If they gave Yuki 2 years to improve, they should do the same for Lawson, not gonna lie. Well, that's my logic. I think Liam, in my opinion, Liam showed more in his junior career than Yuki. And look how, in my opinion, good of a driver Yuki turned out at V Cup. I think if you give Liam time, he'll be able to turn around. But then the argument is, well, had just come in and done so fucking well. So, yeah. Liam and IndyCar would be epic. I'd start fucking watching IndyCar. Would Norris or Piastri winning be better for the sport? I don't think anything would really change because it's a new champion. I think Lando winning would be good because so many people have been watching and supporting Lando since 2019. I think the general consensus is that Piastri deserves it more, so I think it would be better if he won it. But if I'm not mistaken, there was like a global survey done, and Piastri is the most loved F1 driver. Not the most supported, but the most loved driver on the grid at the moment. Which is, I'm not surprised. He's a very neutral. He's never really done anything wrong. He's a solid talent. He's not really done anything wrong. There's no reason, I think, for anyone to put Piastri in their bottom like 10, so... Liam looked broken mentally though. Not sure that changed much if the roles were reversed. I saw a TikTok this morning. I saw an interview of Liam this morning, and he was super happy. He was in a really good mood. I was like, Dad, did he find out some good news? All right, what are the times looking like right now? Max P1 on, sorry, P2 on mediums. My broadcast just froze. Why is everything lagging today? What the fuck is happening? One sec. Let me refresh. Everything's dead. You know when you get on a flow of things and then the flow just disappears when something happens? That's me right now. Like I was in such a flow and then that stream crashed. Now, fuck. Let me reset my VPN. Who do you think is gonna win tomorrow? I'm feeling Max. What did I miss? Odd rejoin. Ferrari 1-2. Wait, what happened? What's up, KCO? How's it going, dude? Thank you again for the gifted sub yesterday, man. Really do appreciate it. Lando would be the first champ in Twitch quartet gen of drivers. Yeah, exactly. It'd be more embarrassing for Oscar. Norris winning would be funny after all the hate and bottle gimmicks. It'd be more embarrassing for Oscar. Wait, what do you mean more embarrassing for Oscar to win? Max wasn't happy with the race pace. Interesting. Oh, I love the nose paw shot. When we're zoomed in on a driver's nose paws, it's my favorite. Tame Impala and K Thea. Thank you guys for the follows. Like, it would be embarrassing if Oscar loses to Mr. Butler. Oh, I see. No, I think there's less expectation for Piastri to win than Lando. Even though I agree, like, the position Piastri's in, if he chokes the championship, if Piastri chokes the championship to Max, that's so bad. Losing it to Lando, not as bad. Yeah, Ferrari looked good this weekend. They've been good in high downforce. As Norris goes P2. Let's look a bit more normal for McLaren on the mediums. I was gonna ask if Casey is a boy or girl's name, because I feel like it's one of those what do you call it? Mixed names? I don't know. Because I was calling you dude the other day, and then I was like, maybe I'm wrong. It's nice to see signs at the top, but he is on the soft service though. Wow, Piastri 12th. He's really uncomfortable in this car right now. Dude works for everyone, so never offended. Good, good. I still remember in my what's happening to Hedger? Oh, he's gonna complain about the McLaren. Yeah, I'm always careful with using dude or guys as a term. Because to me, if I say, yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the stream, guys. Like, I'm using guys as like a group term. I'm not calling you specifically a guy. I'm calling the group guys. You know what I mean? And yeah, in my course one day, I was like, all right, guys, what are we doing today? And a girl in my group was like, you got two girls in your group. You shouldn't be saying guys. And I was like, the fuck? Would it be weird to say thanks, man, to a girl? Yeah. What is a realistic finish? If PS qualifies actually 10th, what is a realistic finish? Well, it's hard to move through the field. Actually, this track. I mean, this track's hard to move through the field because of the because of the dirty air, and because of the heat. But then again, you got a lot of straights to be able to do it. Because thanks, woman, sounds odd to me. True. Actually, I never thought about it like that. Saying thanks, man, to someone, to a guy, sounds normal, but saying thanks, woman, sounds fucked. That actually, good point. Good point. What's up, Rise Up? Why do some of the teams still have their special liveries? I was thinking about that. I didn't. Okay, so Alpine, I'm not surprised that they rocked it. No, they announced that they were rocking it for Mexico. But McLaren, why are McLaren rocking their special livery? I swear they didn't say it. They said it was a Coda livery, not a Mexico livery. Couldn't be bothered taking the paint off, I guess. Sir Matthews, they following. Sassy thing as well. Bro, is anyone else's broadcast like stuttering? Is that just mine? They said for Austin and Mexico, really? Ugh. You kind of look like Drew Starkey. Okay, we've got a new lookalike to add to the list. Who's this? Drew Starkey. I don't see it at all. He's a good looking guy. I'll take it, but I don't see it at all. I mean, yeah, maybe the eyes and the eyebrows very slightly, but nah. Soz. Damn. Max, Lando, and Leclerc separated by 24 milliseconds. It's stuttering for you too? Okay, okay. It must be a broadcast issue then. Top drivers at the top. What is happening? My TikTok stream keeps getting a violation for static imagery. Ah! At least the stream doesn't go down, but it just like restricts the stream for some reason. Wait, look, I see it in this photo. I'm scared to click on that. Nah, I don't see it in that pic. I don't see it in that pic. Where did Piastri just go? P7, 4/10 off. Yikes. Hamilton goes ahead as well, 3/10 off. Is it stuttering for anyone else? Why is it doing this? Yeah, VCAR looked good this weekend, but they're still behind Williams, and we haven't seen the Aston Martins do their lap times yet on softs. No stutters? What the fuck, bro? Is it F1 TV? Yeah, I'm restarting my whole fucking broadcast. My whole fucking thing. Turn the VPN off. Turn the VPN back on. All right, guys, we're in the Netherlands now. Tell Sam to stop uploading static imagery. Which broadcast is struggling? F1 TV international broadcast. Maybe it was just me, to be honest. Are you tired already? No, I think it just boom, 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 rushing around all morning. And then once I sit down, I'm like, oh, Nam sooner. David the follow. Thank God the F1 is moving to Apple TV. You might be the first person to say thank you to that. All right, Norris improves, goes up to the top by 30 milliseconds now, but still really tight between the lads. Max is back on the mediums now. Who do I think will be on the podium? If I had to take a guess right now, we are going to do our F1 prediction soon. If I had to take a guess right now, Max P1, Lando P2, Leclerc P3, or Leclerc P2, Lando P3. No, surely Lando P2. Qualifying is going to be so spicy, man. Hamilton, Piastri look off the pace. Mercedes, we haven't seen a soft time from yet. All right, I want to see times from Aston Martin, Mercedes. McLaren has already secured the team championship, so they no longer need two drivers. I think they've turned down Piastri's car so that Norris is always faster. I mean, that's a big conspiracy theory, if so. Russell not happy with the medium. Yeah, I disagree, Jacobus. I think if Piastri was having his engine turned down, he would find out one way or another, and he would be able to feel it and be able to tell. And why would McLaren do that anyway? If McLaren actually cared that much about winning, that's right, that much about Lando winning, and Piastri found out, I am leaving McLaren straight away. Like, no joke. If I found out my team was purposely sabotaging me to stop me from winning the championship, I am literally breaking my contract and going, hey guys, I'm a free agent. I'm literally leaving. What's the point in driving for a team that you physically cannot win the championship for because they're sabotaging you? But why would McLaren do that? But if they did do that, and Piastri found out, I'm leaving straight away. I might not have a seat for a year, but fuck it. I'm not driving for that, for a team that's sabotaging me. Who would sign Piastri, do you think? Do you think Red Bull would sign him? If Piastri said, hey, I'm a free agent, Red Bull are signing him. Suzuki, you're gone. It goes back to Alpine. That'd be a banging lineup. Imagine Max and Oscar at Red Bull together. Oh! You could probably then go to Aston. You'd have to wait for Alonso to retire first. What if Oscar left McLaren to RB and was even worse? Maybe Oscar's on his end of season downward form. Yeah, I think he's just been at a couple tracks he's not comfortable at. Baku was weird because last year he dominated there. I think the car has been struggling in the wind and Piastri's been struggling to adapt. You've also got to remember this part of the season are tracks that Piastri's not been to as much as Lando and didn't go to in his junior career. So like, if you look at Piastri's season, right? So Australia, F2 and F3 never went there for him. China, F2 and F3 didn't go there. Japan, F2 and F3 didn't go there. Bahrain, he won, and F2 and F3 went there. Saudi, he won. He would have done 2 years there in F2 and F3. Miami, to be fair, F2 and F3 never went there. Imola, F2 and F3 never went there. Then Monaco, F2 and F3 went there. Spain, F2 and F3 went there. Canada, no. Austria, F2 and F3 went there. Silverstone, F2 and F3 went there. Belgium, F2 and F3 went there. Hungary, F2 went there. Netherlands, no. Italy, yes. Baku, yes. Singapore, and now we get to the part of the season where Singapore, no. Kota, no. Brazil, no. Mexico, no. Vegas, no. Qatar, no. You know, we've got 6 races here that Piastri never did at F2 and F3. And I know that's not an excuse, but like, if there's any reason as to why Lando is better in these 6 races versus Piastri, it's because Lando's had 7 years at the tracks and Piastri's had 2. Oh, sorry, Lando's had 6 years at the tracks and Piastri's had 2. We do predict on stream. Yeah, we will. I think Norris would fare better with the IB car than Oscar. Lando likes that super sharp front end. I agree, but I also think Lando would over push the boundary and make a lot of mistakes because he does that way too much in the McLaren at the moment. And the McLaren is easier to drive. So apparently they've changed turn 2. They made the white line thicker. I don't know why, but they made the white line thicker. Let's Henry. They have followed him. Brazil would be a banger race for F2. I agree. How is it possible that Piastri, who drove so fantastic in the first half of the season, is currently performing so poorly? That's strange, isn't it? But you can say the exact same about Lando. Why was Lando performing so poorly for a few races in the middle? Why is Hadja performing so poorly the last few races? Why was Liam performing so poorly in the first 3 races? Like, you got to remember there's so much that goes into being a sports athlete, and there's even more that goes into being a Formula 1 driver, right? Like, first off, mentality, right? In any sport, there's so much that goes into the mentality of what you're doing, right? One, there could be off-track distractions, right? You might not be able to put your 100% focus into your job because you're distracted by outside things. I'm not saying this is the problem for Piastri. I'm just saying like how much goes into an athlete, into a sport that some people I think just ignore and then just go down this conspiracy theory route. But like, mentality, you could be distracted by things off track. Mentality, you could lose a little bit of confidence and go into the spiral. We've seen so many drivers fall into the spiral before. Liam was in a bit of a spiral at the start of the year. Gasly went into a huge spiral. Albon's been in a huge spiral where it just gets worse and worse and worse. Checo's another one. You know, you have 1 bad race and then it turns into 2 and then it's contract talks and then it's getting criticized online and you just get worse and worse and worse. You have no confidence. So mentality is a big one. I think the big one for Piastri is just experience. Like, you know, there's so many different tracks on the calendar. Some tracks you suit, some tracks you don't. You know, Leclerc sucks at Hungary notoriously. there's just tracks that drivers don't like, and we might be at a few tracks that Piastri doesn't like. Setup changes, obviously upgrades come. Maybe the car's gone in a bit more of a pointed direction, which Piastri doesn't like, or maybe it goes into a more understeery direction that Piastri doesn't like. Yeah. Or it could just be crazy, right? Luck. Like, he's just had 3 bad Grand Prix in a row. And again, that's where the spiral starts. Like, Baku was terrible. Worst weekend he's ever had. One of the worst weekends we've ever seen from a championship leader ever. Then going into the next round, which was Singapore, the car sucked, so he was naturally going to be bad. So he's had 2 bad weekends in a row. One from his own doing, one from the car's doing. Then you head into Coda, and your teammate's just better than you. So you've had 3 bad weekends in a row for 3 completely different reasons. And boom, your mentality is now, what the fuck? I'm losing points in this championship. I've lost my confidence. You come into the 4th round and you're trying too hard. You're thinking too much about it. You know what I mean? There's so many variables that go into Formula 1, and every race it could be a different variable. And then you just go into a spiral. Maybe it could be complacency. I don't think Piastri's the driver to get complacent, but it could be complacency. Maybe he was 100 points up in the championship and he was like, sweet, bring on Baku. Showed up to Baku, sucked. How many current drivers do you think could win the World Drivers' Championship in McLaren right now? What do you mean by that? Do you mean like could fight for a championship? Because if Colapinto and Liam were the only 2 people in a McLaren, then I'd say they're both capable of winning a championship. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, if they had McLaren's car, what, against Max? Or like this season? Okay, so let's use Lando as an example. Are you saying if you took Lando out of the car and you put another driver in? Oh, Antonelli's all over the place. Is your question basically, if you take Lando out of the car and put another driver in, who's going to be fighting for the championship alongside Piastri? Who could fight for the championship alongside Piastri? Okay. Colapinto, no. Gasly, no. Stroll, definitely not. Bortoletto, not yet. Alonso, yes. Hulkenberg, no. Piastri, yes. When my timing's disappeared, 1 sec. I think Alonso would win the championship if he was at a McLaren against Piastri and Norris. Those other drivers I listed, I don't think they would. Gasly, I think is a good driver, but I think he needs to be in a comfortable car. Piastri, obviously, yes. Behrman, no, not yet. Ocon, no. Liam, no. Hamilton, honestly, in these regs of cars, with the way the McLaren is pointy, in his current form, I'm sorry, but no. I think Lewis in his prime, obviously, yeah. But Lewis has shown in the last 4 years that he cannot drive this reg of cars. So what shows me that he could hop in a McLaren and magically his skill is fixed? I don't think Lewis would win in a McLaren. I'm sorry. Antonelli, no. Albon, I think would put up a good fight. I think Albon with his current form, I think he could put up a good fight against Norris and Piastri. I do think Piastri and Norris would just edge him because Albon's also had some stinkers this year. Yuki, no. Hadja, honestly, I don't think he would beat Lando and Piastri, but I think he could be close enough for a rookie. Leclerc, absolutely yes. Max, absolutely yes. Sainz, I'd probably put him around like Albon and Hadja's range. Sorry, between Albon and Hadja. And then Russell, absolutely yeah. So to answer your question, Alonso, Russell, Leclerc, Verstappen, yes. Albon would put up a fight, and then I'd put Sainz and Hadja on the edge. I know Hadja's a crazy one, but yeah, I'd put Sainz and Hadja on the edge. What shows you Alonso could? 2023, how he outdrove that Aston Martin. How he drove that Aston Martin amazingly when it was capable of getting podiums, and how he outdrives the Aston Martin every single week. And the fact that it's Fernando Alonso, who's a 2-time champ. There's pressure on Lando to not be the second driver at McLaren. I think 2026 is going to be a test of Alonso's true form. I think that Aston's going to be pretty rapid. The pressure is somewhat off Lando. Max and Oscar is taking all the headlines, and Lando is on the background chipping the points lead. Yeah, I agree. If you're going to add a Hadger, Gabby should be included as well. To be honest, yeah, you're right. I think Gabby's current form is matching Hadger's. I just think Hadger's had the better season, so you're probably right. I don't think Bortoletto or Hadger are ready to fight for a championship in a McLaren against those guys. It was more just like, I think Hadger would probably be someone I think could maybe, I don't know. But yeah, my answer would be there's only 4 drivers who would beat the McLaren boys in the McLaren. And then I think the outsiders would be Sainz and Albon. But I don't think Sainz would beat Norris or Piastri. I think Albon's the only one that could. That isn't the big 4 names. You say no to Lewis, but think Albon can. Like, come on. Wait, we being serious? Wait, you being serious, Nixie? You think... Wait. You think Lewis Hamilton, in current form, who's struggled to beat George Russell and Charles Leclerc in this reg of cars, could hop in a pointy McLaren and beat Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri? He can't even beat Charles Leclerc. I do think Leclerc is better than Norris and Piastri, but he can't beat Leclerc. He's struggling to beat Antonelli week on week, to be honest. How is he going to beat Piastri and Norris? Like, we're not talking 2021 Lewis. We're talking proven, struggling to drive in this reg of cars Lewis, hopping in the second hardest to drive car and beating Norris and Piastri, who are somewhat comfortable there. That's like saying, oh, if Lewis hops in the Red Bull, he'll be good. Like, I think people forget how pointy the McLaren is. Like, I don't think many drivers can hop in that McLaren and drive it well. And don't get me wrong, are Norris and Piastri under-delivering in a championship-level car? 100%. But are they doing bad? Absolutely not. I don't think many drivers would be able to handle how pointy that McLaren is. I think a lot of people see fast car and go, yep, car's fast. Forgetting how hard it is to drive, sometimes, particularly this reg of cars, how hard it is to drive these cars. HH, thank you so much for the sub, dude. Appreciate you coming in with the Prime, man. Thank you. Thank you for subbing to the stream for the very first time. Really do appreciate it. Pit Uni, Omera, thank you guys for the follows. Omer, sorry. Albon about to go up to the top on the self-set. The fastest car is usually the hardest to drive. It depends on the reg of cars. Like, if we look at the Mercedes in 2019, 18, blah, 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 it's an easy car to drive. In this reg of cars, these cars need to be so pointy to be quick. Which, oh, he's fucked it up. Damn. Yeah, these cars are really hard. These cars are really hard to drive, you know? Like, don't be wrong, that Red Bull was the most dominant car in 2023, obviously. But you got to remember, like, Perez wasn't finishing P2 every single race. Like, the reason that season was dominated by Red Bull was because of Max. Max made the difference. And it's the same with McLaren. Like, this McLaren wouldn't have won the Constructors, in my opinion, if you put half the grid in that car. Again, are Piastri and Norris underperforming for a championship level car? Yes. But you've got to give them props of how well they are doing at the same time in a car that, you know, is pointy, that is hard to drive. And that's what's so frustrating about Formula One is, oh, McLaren's got the best car. Well, Lando and Piastri don't deserve the championship. But I guarantee you, if you put Colapinto, Stroll, maybe some of the rookies, you know, and Sonoda, maybe even, honestly, in some worlds, like Ocon or Hamilton in that McLaren, I don't think they're winning the Drivers' Championship. But people just see a McLaren at the top or a Red Bull at the top, and they're like, "Oh, best team, car merchant." I think that was the case maybe in the last regs, but this regs, I don't think that's the case. Oh, the other thing people don't give, in my opinion, Lando enough credit for is him helping build this team up over the last 7 years. Like, people say, oh, Lando doesn't deserve the championship. You know, like he was just given the fastest car. He's been there for 7 years, helping build this team to where it is today. Do you think he just shows up and drives the car? Hell nah. He fucking drives the car. He's the one that goes back to the team and goes, in the corner, I understeer. In this corner, where I have no grip. And then the engineers go, yes, sir, and then fix the car. If he hopped in the car and just went around every corner and drove and gave no feedback or didn't know what the fuck was happening, the car would still be shit. I can't believe I'm defending Lando right now and McLaren right now. Reality is most of the drivers on the grid are very talented and would do well in a championship car, but actually winning it takes more, and we don't know how each would fare. We've seen how perception of Norris has changed in the past 2 seasons. Yeah, exactly. And Hadja up to the top on the sauce. Ooh, the V-Cub's looking nice. Okay. Yeah, can we stay on board with Piastri here? I want to see how poo his car is. Okay, purple, looking better. But let's see. This is the section that he was struggling with. Stroll goes P2 behind the V-Carbs. That looks better, but still very, like, tentative on the exits. Oh, Jolien, same word usage. He's 2 dents up on Hadja. Someone's got a purple sector 2, though. We got to see what Russell and Max and Lando's times look like, Leclerc's times look like before we do anything. Also goes P3. 2 tenths behind Hadja. Sonoda goes behind Hadja. Against Piastri. Yikes. Because Russell should go up by a fair bit here. 2 tenths, I'd say. No, Russell's behind Hadja as well. What's happened to the Merc this weekend? To be fair, Antonelli's been the better Merc driver this weekend, so let's see where he goes. And let's see where the Leclerc goes. Where the fuck? Who's got the purples, bruh? Liam has purple sector 2.
Brew, how I have been subbing for 34 months.
How is it so tight? What the fuck? I guess this is an example of how weird this track is. Like, Liam's in P5, 2 tenths down, but he's got the fastest sector 2. Blue, Bluecoot, thank you so much for the 34-month resub, dude. Really do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for supporting. The Claire goes up to the top by only 9 milliseconds. Wow, I'm really excited for qualifying. When you think about it, right? Monaco and Hungary are some of the best qualifyings of the year because of how tight. Because of how, for some reason, high downforce just produces tight qualifyings. And obviously, this track, everyone's rocking a high downforce setup because of the air altitude. It's going to be interesting to see how close qualifying is going to be. Antonelli goes up to the top. Like I said, he has looked like the better Mercedes driver this weekend. 2 tenths up on Russell. Let's see where Max goes. That wasn't a great turn 2 there. So he's matching Antonelli right now. I'm excited for next week in Interlagos. Sadly, there's a week break. It's not a triple header. We got a week break, and then we got Interlagos by itself. Only, maybe the follow. Damn, Kimi first win this weekend? Maybe. Nah, I don't think the Merc's good enough, but Kimi is the better Merc driver right now. Yeah, Max at 10th up. All right. I think coming in to quali, Max is the best. I think the fight between Leclerc, the McLarens, and the Mercedes is going to be so tight. And obviously, for the championship. Oh! He's finished 4th. Holy fuck, this is so tight. Oh my god. We need more high downforce tracks. I said this all year. We need more high downforce tracks on the circuit, on the calendar. With actual overtaking zones. Lewis better go up to the top. And Lewis to the top by 3/10. Oofa. Okay, Lewis, your time to cook, buddy. Come on. Lock in. Lock in. We're at a high downforce track. McLaren look like they're nowhere. Mercedes, their star boy is not on it. Oh, here comes Norris now. Okay, track. Maybe the track just started cooking. Lewis heard what you said about him being washed. I never said Lewis was washed. I just said I don't think Lewis likes these regs enough to be able to beat Piastri and Lando in a McLaren. Tars in the follow. Wow, okay, so Lando's gonna go 2/10 something now. Okay, the track does get better all of a sudden. And Lando goes 4/10 up. Wow. Wow. Okay. He just strung together a beautiful lap. That was weird. Everyone was matching, and then Lando just found a lot of time. Did he find something that the others haven't? Did he just string together a beautiful lap? Did they turn his engine up a bit? Practice has been very interesting to watch this week. I know about you guys, but when there's a championship fight on the line and it's really tight like this, you can really like analyze and care about the times. So that's Williams going off, and then just trying to run off. This runoff's so weird, man. It's so skinny. What's your opinion on the McLaren pit stops? They need to lock in. That's what I think. Okay, Piastri goes P3, but 6/10 off Lando. What is happening? Is Max going to come out on the softs again? Yeah, really good point from Jolian. Has Max's pace dropped off a bit because they've now opted more for a race pace setup? You know, maybe wanting to get a P2 or a P3 in quali, so that way they can get a slipstream down at turn 1 and then have the better race pace, rather than doing what they do at other tracks where they go for a qualifying setup, get pole, and then have the risk of falling back in the race. I'm really excited for qualifying now. How's flowability here in terms of tire deck? Well, the air is very dense and it's very hot, so not great. But I think McLaren pit stop hardware can't handle 2 pit stops, one after another, and the hardware needs to cool down to have a quick pit stop. You reckon? I think the team just needs to lock in. Can't wait for vintage Interlagos best track of the calendar. Yeah. Interlagos, one of those tracks on the calendar where you just know you're going to get a banger. I think as well. Hey, man. Russell goes P3, but keep in mind he is on 5-lap old softs. I think potentially the softs are overheating into Sector 3. And McLaren's deg is better, or cooling's better, so they're surviving into Sector 3 more. Yeah. Has he been blocked again by McLaren? No, it's an LP this time. He's nowhere near you, mate. Bro, he's nowhere near you. Calm down. Calm down, bro. How long have you been watching F1 for? I've been watching since 2019. He's so passionate. Yeah, they better call him, but why is Oscar nowhere near Lando? Yeah. I'm so excited for quali though. This is so fucking interesting. By the way, thank you everyone for tuning on in. I've just had a look at the view count numbers. I if you don't know, I stream with my view count off because I don't care if I've got 1 viewer or 1,000 viewers or whatever. I just don't want to keep looking at it all the time and whatever. Oh, Albon saying there's something wrong with the engine. He's been struggling this session. But yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in. This is insane numbers for practice. I think it really goes to show how spicy the championship is at the moment, that so many people are interested in tuning on in to see, like, okay, what's going to happen coming into practice. So yeah, thank you guys all for watching. If you have enjoyed, be sure to follow down below. We're going to be staying live all the way through to qualifying, so stick with us. We've got fantasy to do, predict to do. We've got videos to watch, so stick around. If you're watching on TikTok or YouTube right now, come join us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Ponden. Which F1 season until now was your favorite? 2021. If I had to order the seasons, from favorite to least favorite, I'd say 21. Honestly, 25 is on track to be number 2. I'm not going to lie. 2025 is on track to be number 2, but we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. I'd say 21, 24, 2020, 20... 2019, 23. Yeah. I mean, 2021 is so clear of 24, and 24 is so clear of 2020. And then 2020, 22, 2019 are kind of like grouped together. And then 23 is just clearly the worst. But the thing with 23 was, '23 was a really good season if you take Max out of it. But it's hard to enjoy a sport when 24 of the races are just won by the same fucking dude. But I guess for me it wasn't as bad because I actually like Max and Red Bull, obviously. But I still put it as my least favorite. Yeah. Honestly, I think 25 is slotting in P3 for me right now. I think for me as well, I enjoy Formula 1 more than just the on-track racing. I like everything that comes off-track. And I think even right now, I'd probably even put 25 as my second favorite season just because everything that's happened off-track this year has made the sport so enjoyable. Like, if I'm talking about just the on-track racing, then yeah. Like, maybe you could argue 2024 is better, but yeah, in terms of like everything off track, I don't know. I just feel like every weekend's a vibe. So much to talk about. It's good. Last year was a good season, but this year's actually got a championship fight, which is nice. Guggle Duggle. Okay. Sources live. There goes the follows. Looks like Rebel brought a failed upgrade, taking themselves out, you reckon? Wait, did Max just do a run? Yeah, but he's on used softs though. Whoa! Why is he getting so close to that house? The fuck? Favorite race of 21? There's too many. Probably Russia's my favorite. Russia and Saudi. Russia had everything. Saudi was chaotic as fuck. Monza was... I mean, Monza wasn't a great race. It was just, like, great moments. Silverstone was good. But, yeah, the thing with 2021 was, like, Russia was the best race. All the other races that year were just kind of, like, big moments. There wasn't like on-track racing, and that's what I like about this this reg is like we're actually getting on-track racing, which is nice. I've wanted to mention Abu Dhabi. Well, Abu Dhabi is just a shit race. We had dramatic lap 1, dramatic last 3 laps, or last whatever how many laps it was, 8 laps, however many laps it took to clean up the shit. In between, nothing fucking happened. Well, actually, Checo holding up Lewis was good. But yeah, in the, 58 lap race in Abu Dhabi, I think 50 of it was a snore fest. And that's basically how the whole 2021 season went. Like Bahrain 2021, nothing happened, but then those last 10 laps were fucking amazing. France 21 as well. Again, nothing happened in that race, but the strategy and the like, oh, he's closing was so good. Anyways, guys, that's practice 3. That is practice 3 done. We'll wait for everyone to finish their laps, and then we'll do a rundown of the order. Interesting stuff right now. Do you think Liam, if not being promoted to Rebel, would be dominating this season? I don't think he'd be dominating. I just think he would be a lot more comfortable at V-Carb. All right, Max goes up to P6 now on 9 lap old softs. So, to be honest, I don't think Max is as bad as some of you think. Like, look where Yuki is. Yuki's only a 10th behind Max. We know that Max is capable of outperforming Yuki a lot better than that. Max is on 9 lap old softs. He's just behind Piastri right now. All his other lap times have been good. I still think he's in the fight for pole. I think maybe they've opted for a little bit more of a race setup now. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that wraps up practice 3. Let's do a rundown of the grid. So, Alonso in last, which is interesting because I don't think the Aston was looking good this weekend. I don't know why he's down in last. Maybe doing some more race pace runs. Colapinto P19, 2 tenths behind his teammate Gasly in P18. Then Behrman P17, 5 tenths behind his teammate. Then the Williams, very disappointing session for them considering they were way up there in practice 1 and 2. I'm not sure what happened to them. Have they maybe changed the setup? Have they opted for a race pace setup? Yeah, interesting. Hulk P14, Stroll P13, Ocon P12, Lawson P11. Bortoleto P10, Sonoda P9, Hadja best of the rest P8. Then we've got Antonelli P7. Now, Antonelli was looking like the better Mercedes driver, and then he didn't do some runs there at the end, so it's kind of hard to tell where he is. What's Bortoleto about to complain about? Whoa. Okay. Yeah, Max P6. Again, I don't think that's really representative of the time that he can do there. Piastri, that is a representative time, I think. He's been consistently far off of Lando, so we're going to have to see how he does, but it's not looking good right now. Same with Leclerc. I think Leclerc can do better than that. Russell, I don't know. Everyone's kind of set their times at different times on different tires, different lap. It's kind of all over the place. Hamilton set a really nice lap, and then Norris. Norris is the only driver I think I could comfortably say, be like, okay, he's 100% fighting for pole. Like, you know, he might have set his lap at a good time on fresh tires, but yeah, yeah, he's well and truly up on Hamilton in P2. He looked comfortable as well. 3 purple sectors. Yeah, interesting session though. Anyways, guys, that is it for FP1. FP3. All the practice sessions are now done. The stream is not over though. We are going to be staying live to do F1 Fantasy and F1 Predict and watch some videos from previous years. So stick around. But YouTube, I am going to have to end the stream there. So if you're watching right now on YouTube, come join us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Ponden. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later for qualifying. Be sure to sub down below, like the stream. Bye-bye.